What is up, guys? My name is IAmJoeHaro. Welcome to my YouTube channel and welcome back if you already follow this channel. And if you don't follow this channel, go ahead and click that subscribe button below and follow me on my Instagram. My Instagram is at IAmJoeHaro. Once again, it's at IAmJoeHaro. Look to the left. Now, in today's video, we're going to be doing things a little bit differently. I want to talk about a certain subject that is popping up in my life right now. It is how to deal with change and growth, basically. And I thought this is a big topic that should be covered. A lot of people don't really cover it and don't know how to express their feelings properly when it comes to communication and growing as a person. And I think it's important that it gets addressed. When you're growing as an individual, people around you seem to not understand it. And so in order for them to understand it, they need to know where you started if they weren't around when you first started your journey on growing as an individual. So I'm going to give you guys some insight on where I think my life started to where it's at now and then where I want to go. So I remember a very low place in my life, and this was in 2013. I moved out at the age of 19, okay? And during that time, it was about a year to 2 years, I lived on my own, okay? And during those long 2 years, I decided to move out of my mom's house because I finally wanted to be independent. And there were some issues going on internally that I don't want to discuss right now. And nothing bad, basically. It just, just family drama, but now it's resolved. It's been resolved for years. But the point is dealing with change and growth and where I started to where I'm at and where I'm going. So I'm going to read you guys an email on how I was feeling at that time, basically. I remember writing this email too. It was, what did I write this at? It was 5:09 a.m. on January 4th that I wrote this email. And I wrote this email to an individual who I looked up to on Instagram in 2013. His name was Con Furcon. And basically, he's the owner of Cakes on Fire. Well, knowing me back then, I got his email and I was feeling very low. I remember writing this email. And I just wrote it all out on paper, basically, or in an email on my phone. And I sent him everything on how I was feeling that day because I remember his story on where he started. He said he lived in like a basement. It was very small. But I'll read you guys my email and you'll get the point of why I'm saying this. So my email at January 4, on January 4, 2013 at 5:09 a.m. says, I'm not sure if you'll receive this letter, but it doesn't hurt trying. I just want to first start off by saying you're a true inspiration to myself. I've read several of your articles on your story and rise to the top. It's humbling to see someone accomplish what you have had at such a young age. To have gone from having very little to where you're at right now in your life. The day you posted the picture of the house you bought your mom was really an eye-awakening to me. To hope and believe that one day I can do that for my mom, much love and respect to you, bro. I'm writing to you to get some kind of advice from someone who I can see can relate to myself. A little bit about myself. I was born in Santa Monica, California, and raised in the San Fernando Valley. My mother had my sister at the age of 15 and myself at the age of 18, and raised us both on our own. Growing up without a father was tough, but seeing my mother struggle to raise us was always tougher. Despite my mom being a single parent, she enrolled me in Catholic school from 6th to 8th grade. No matter how hard and high tuition was and how many jobs she had to work, she did it so we'd have a better and bright future. I tried to do the best I could and make her proud growing up. When I graduated 8th grade, I decided I wanted to go to public high school, where my sister also attended. We had just moved to the Valley when I entered 6th grade, so when she enrolled me in Catholic school, my mother was just learning about the Valley and wanted to do things differently with me aside from my sister. As soon as I turned 15, I decided to get a real job and help my mom with any little extra money I could. The only legal job that would hire at the age of 15 years old was food service at Six Flags. I worked at Six Flags throughout high school, basically going through every department, laugh out loud. When I turned 16, I decided I wanted to be a lifeguard for the summer, and after that I did rides until I turned 18. Throughout high school, for some reason, I never really got along with my age group. Starting since freshman year, I always found myself hanging out with the seniors of that year. And that continued till I myself finally became a senior. I somehow never fit in with my age, and I felt as if I was put in the wrong time. I was doing things like working and going out as if I was 4 years ahead of my age. And although I loved high school, it wasn't easy for me. Over my 4 years of high school, I was always judged because for some reason, talking and hanging out with girls came more natural to me than it was to hang out with their bros, as most normal teen guys do. I was judged and called names because of one, I talked to a lot of girls, and two, I guess I had a passion or a drive for what looked good together with my clothes, laugh out loud. I guess being raised around females was both a blessing and a curse for me. I've learned to live with it. When I turned 18 in November of 2009, I found myself looking for a new opportunity and stumbled upon my friend from sophomore year who was 3 years older than me working at Guess at the Northridge Mall. She told me I should apply and that she would tell her manager I had worked with her at another retail store before, which I hadn't, laugh out loud. So I got the job and found myself working at Guess for a year and several other little jobs as well at the same time. I was a full-time student working 2 jobs, always, or even 3, trying to do it all. I was working at Guess, Toys R Us, Cold Stones, all at the same time, and on top of that, trying to live a social life. My friends always wondered how I balanced everything to fit it into my schedule. I guess I just had an act for organization. After working for Guess for a year and a half, I decided to leave the company because it no longer fit my style and needed change. A month after quitting, I found myself at City Walk, where I decided to apply at Fossil, and got the job. I've been with the company currently for 2 years. About half a year ago, I found myself being targeted at work for trying to be myself, and they constantly tried molding me into what they felt best fit the company. Me being me, I stuck it out. No matter how much pressure they had on me to quit, I wasn't gonna let that happen. Plus I got 50% off the watches, and that goes for WatchStation.com that Fossil also owns. So I put less availability and decided to join a more suitable company whose style matched mine more, Urban Outfitters. I joined them in October and December 2011 until February 2012, where they then let me go. Never figured out why. They all liked me, but I think it was my hectic schedule with both Fossil and school, so Fossil giving me less hours. I ended up working for a company called Wireless Advocates, which sold cell phones inside Staples. I found myself working here full-time, which I love, plus part-time at Fossil, since I was only using them for the discount on top of that with school. I worked at Wireless Advocates until June, which is why my boss then had to let me go. He loved me because I was his highest ranked employee in the district, but I guess he was forced to let me go because of Staples. Staples had a price match policy, and being the nice guy who wanted to save people money and every phone was commission, I was doing research on every competitor out there and finding phones in stores and other stores who had them for cheaper. I posted Craigslist ads and paper ads at school just to bring in clients so that I could sell more and get more commission. More contracts meant more money to me, and that was pretty good, and I was pretty good at it. My boss told me he always recommended me for future jobs and to use him as a reference no matter what. Staples let me go because I abused the policy that most people never even knew about. But I was bringing them in money. I did the marketing that they couldn't even do themselves. I wasn't really sad about it though, about getting fired, because in June of 2012, I find myself once again with another job working for the city of Los Angeles as a summer camp counselor. It was $15 an hour, 40 hours a week to take care of kids and go on field trips every Wednesday. Who wouldn't love it? And on top of that, still working for Fossil at nighttime and took a math course for summer session at college. As the summer came to an end, I found myself looking for another job, knowing it was only temporary and for 3 months. But the cash in my pocket was pretty good. I was doing it all. The summer had ended. I had found myself looking for another job to support myself, where I decided to apply for Chase Bank. I did the application online, submitted for about 7 branches. Who would have known about 6 of those branches would have called me back for interviews? I went to 2 interviews a day for about 3 days, straight praying and hoping that one branch would like me for what I had to offer. About 2 weeks later, I had finally received the call I was praying for. I was offered a job as a part-time teller, 20 hours a week, at North Hollywood branch. I gladly accepted. I've been with Chase since September till now and continue to work at Fossil only on Friday nights, and also found myself working for my old store, Urban Outfitters. I went 2 weeks after Chase had hired me to talk to them, and my manager remembered me and asked, why did we let you go in the first place? I asked if I could do night shifts, which consisted from 7 p.m. to 1 a.m., and she gladly hired me back. I just recently turned 21 and moved out in September, about 2 weeks after Chase had hired me. I tried so hard to balance all 3 jobs just to get 40 hours a week I had, on top of that with school full time. I decided to move out because I was finally done being put down by my mother. No matter no matter how much I did with work and school, I always felt I was never good enough. I was doing it all, paying my cell phone bill, car insurance, few credit cards, even rent at home to make my mom's life a little less hard. So in September, I moved out. I currently live with my friend's parents. The living situation is kind of odd because of the mom. The mom decides to rent out rooms in her house to every one of her daughter's friends. And around the same time I wanted to move out, they had a room for rent, so I decided to move in. The room is small with fiberglass and very similar to a garage, and gets super cold at night, but at least I feel independent now. I can come and go now and have peace of mind. I'm killing myself having to work 3 jobs just to make ends meet, along with going to school full time. Just to make ends meet and no longer have extra spending money. But if this is God's plan and struggle I have to go through, then I'm up for the task. All my friends are true supporters and know all that I do. I know Chase is a great opportunity, but the 20 hours is killing me right now, along with working the 30 hours between 2 other jobs on top of that, with school full time. I know down the line it'll be all worth it, but I just feel I'm meant to do something bigger and better in my life. I don't want to work for all the other companies. I want to own my own company. I've been having several dreams lately about owning and starting a clothing line. It seems like the wrong timing, but for some reason my current job positions both fit the picture together. I'm a bank teller working at Urban Outfitters and Fossil on the side. I have my coworkers at the bank regarding any big questions about loans and opening up businesses, and Urban Outfitters to inspire me on what people look like and the variety of different clothing and styles that are out there. I want to be able to start a clothing line that has the best worlds, both vintage and urban, but still classy and fly. I thought of the concept and logo and idea of what I wanted, but your advice is much needed. I'm sorry for such a long letter, just a young and ambitious kid with very big dreams. Joe Haro. So, I wrote this email in 2013 at 5 o'clock in the morning because at this time I didn't know what to do. I was very lost. I was working 3 jobs, going to school full time, killing myself. I remember in that room, guys, it was made out of fiberglass. The rooms, when it got hot, was like a sauna during the summer. And then during the winter, it was so cold that I had to sleep with jackets and that I would see my breath coming out. And then on top of that, I had my stuff stolen. They were stealing my watches. Back then, I somehow found money to collect Jordans. They were stealing my Jordans. I collected a lot of jerseys back then. Those were stolen. So much stuff happened during these 2 years where I was literally killing myself trying to make money to survive, sometimes not eating. I remember crying in my room, not being able to eat in order to pay my bills. But I refused to go back home. And this email is just to show you guys with where I started back then. So now, fast forward, we're in 2020. That's in 2013. I've now been at the company that I'm currently at for about 7 years, going on 8, okay? I work full time. I get a salary plus a commission. I own my own house now in the city of West Hills, California, okay? I have 2 startups. One just went live called iGuruFi, which is a Yelp for Instagram influencers, okay? The other one is called Sprucey, which is an Airbnb platform for clothes and accessories. The website is out. Our mobile apps are in development. I've been working on that for 3.5 years. It's still coming out. I still believe in it. So those of you that have been following me and that know me, know about Sprucey. Next platform is iGuruFi, which is going to be huge. Both these platforms are going to be huge, guys. I know it. But the reason for me bringing all this up is to deal with change and growth. The people that were with me in the beginning, I had a lot of friends back then. I was always the guy that had the parties and that would go out drinking and have bottle service and do that Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I mean, I live for those nights, guys. But I did that from 17 all the way till 24, maybe even 25. And it got old. And I grew up. And I've decided to change my priorities. I no longer crave to go out and get drunk every weekend. I want something bigger in life. And if that means that I have to go MIA from some of my older friends and be in my room locked up every weekend, being antisocial, because I don't want to go out to, get drunk and go to restaurants and hang out, it is not something on you guys to disrespect you. If you guys feel like I'm belittling you by not hanging out with you, I'm sorry, but it is what it is. This is a part of life, guys. Some of you, I've tried to help out, and I can only offer so much advice to help you grow as a person. You have to want to change yourself. So, when you guys have a friend that's going through change and growth, don't put them down just because you don't agree with their lifestyle. And I will admit, I have friends that have drinking problems. And I've tried to be that friend that is like a dad to save them because they have horrible drinking problems. But I'm no longer putting myself in those positions where I'm getting frustrated and it's now conflicting with my life, taking away from the hard work that I put in into working 40 plus hours during the week. On top of that, working at nighttime. I work 5 a.m. to 1:30. Then I work on all my other side hustles from 5 p.m. all the way up until 1 a.m. in the morning. And then I wake up at 5 a.m., guys. I sleep like 4 hours. So I put in the work. And this lifestyle isn't for anybody. Okay? Only the strong will survive. And not everybody has to do this. Some people are fine working a 9 to 5 job or a 7 to 3 or whatever the case is, and just going to job and having that corporate life and coming home and it being like an ongoing cycle, like a robot. That's fine for some people. But for me, I want more. And I'm willing to sacrifice a couple years when I'm younger in order to have so much more down the line when I'm older and for my children that I'm going to have down the line so that they can have the best situation that I can ever give them. So, if your friends are growing or changing around you, you need to ask yourself, okay, they're changing. Is it really affecting you that much that you want to put them down for not doing the things that you have been liking all these years, but now they want to do better for themselves? And it's a problem now because it's not making you happy. It doesn't work out like that, guys. So, there was a quote that I read the other day. And I'm going to read it to you guys. It says, never take advice from someone who you wouldn't want to trade places with. If you're not sure about someone's credibility, just look at their life. So, I really like this quote. For me, I'm extremely stubborn. And I don't go to a lot of people for advice. Usually, if I have a big decision to make, I usually make it on myself. Usually, if I have a big decision to make, I usually make this decision myself. There's very few people in my little circle that I have now that I ask for advice, because at the end of the day, I'm going to do the decision whether or not you like it or not. So, when it comes to people growing, people grow apart, guys. And that's life. But don't penalize the person that's growing and changing because it no longer matches up with your lifestyle. Don't put them down because they want better in their life. I had friends recently who have put me down for being in my room every weekend and being antisocial because I'm not going and drinking and partying and going to restaurants. Literally. And it is what it is. I'm sorry that I'm choosing to want to do better. And my better might be different than what you consider better or what you want for your future. But in order to get what I want, I have to make the sacrifices that I'm making right now. And that's disappearing, basically. Working on my side hustles, working on my 2 startups, creating Instagram content, creating YouTube content in order to grow my brand, in order to grow my brand. It's funny, when I get frustrated, I start talking like in a British accent. I don't know why. But these are the things that I'm doing in order to make change, guys. So I kind of went off track a little bit, but the point of this video is don't put people down because they're changing and they're growing. And whether you like it or not, it's a part of life, guys. So realize that the words that you're saying or not saying affect people. And if you're frustrated because you're not communicating with that person that's changing, that's your fault, not theirs. They can't fix a problem or entertain a problem if you've never communicated the problem. Communication's key, guys. So the point of this video, guys, is to address change and growth in people. And when you're growing as a person, not everybody's going to agree with the changes that are happening in your life. And that's okay. It's a part of life. And if those friendships are meant to be, they'll come back to you. Or you guys will meet up eventually when the time is right. Because if those friendships are affecting what your current goals are, and you don't know how to balance the two, and in this case, no, I don't know how to balance the two. Because my current goals don't align with what they have going on in their life. And that's not a bad thing. It is what it is. And friendships grow apart. So don't put your friends down. If they want to do better in their life and they're separating themselves from your situation and you don't agree upon it, that's your problem, not theirs. So I hope that this video helped some of you guys and that you guys are seeing where I am going in my life, where I started, where I'm currently at, where I want to go. I mean, I'm so excited to post a video of like where I'm going to be in the future because this is the middle part of my life right now. I don't even feel like I've hit the top. I mean, I want so much more, guys. And I'm so excited. That letter that I read to you from 2013, I wanted to read that letter for a very special time, but since I've been having so many issues with friends lately, all attacking me because I have decided to go MIA from them because I'm truly focusing on what I think is best for me in my life right now in order for my companies to take off, I decided to read that letter so that they can see and remember where I started at, because when I had phone conversations, one of them literally told me that he liked me better when I was poor. And for me, as a person that's worked so hard to get to where they're at, I couldn't believe it. And I didn't understand, and it's frustrating, but I mean, the situation is what it is. So this is me addressing change and growth in my life, in my perspective on the topic. And let me know how you guys feel below. Leave me a comment. I hope that you guys like this video. Thanks.